All right, so Posh Boss Blake, which I call him all the time, by his name is Blake, but he's originally from New York. He said he's both from the city and upstate, which I don't know, but us Los Angeles people, we don't know what that means. What does that mean?
So when you say you're from New York, like true New Yorkers will say, oh, I'm from New York, meaning New York City. They don't have to say like the city, unless people who are not from there, then they're like, oh, the city. And then you say yes or no. I was born in the city, but for most of my like teenage life, I grew up upstate, which is anything upstate is like central New York and above. So where it's always frigid, 3 feet of snow, cold, um, and like a 3 to 4 hour drive outside of Manhattan. That's upstate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Because like I'm from Guadalajara.
Yeah.
So it's the same
Very
thing.
different places.
Yes. Okay, cool. So now we know what that is. Thanks for explaining that. He moved to Los Angeles in only 2016 after leaving his job in national TV advertising to pursue a new path. The path was unknown, and after some time, he found himself becoming a personal assistant. This eventually led to his current role working as an office and culture manager for a public relations firm that focuses on interior designers, lifestyle brands, and architecture firms. He found Poshmark in 2018 and began the journey to his present-day part-time Posh Boss status. He recently attended PoshFest 2019, where he in person
where
the flipping gals. So funny. We had to meet in Arizona when we both live in LA.
I know. And we're in theory not that far, but like in minutes we are far.
That's true.
That's true.
Especially in traffic time.
It's like 50 miles. All right. Well, let's start. So we have a few questions for you. Obviously, a lot of our followers and listeners who are listening to our podcast have questions on, how to start a business, how to start a reselling business on Poshmark. I know you're super experienced with Poshmark. Can you tell us like how you got started? When did you start? And how do you find your journey so far?
Yeah. So, okay, this is actually like a long journey. So, I've been on eBay since I believe 2007. So, like senior in high school, maybe even sooner. I want to say actually it's since 2004. I have to check my account, but I got on eBay so I could buy new phones. Because that's when you had to, it didn't matter about the upgrade. You could switch over your phone, and the only way to get them was to go on eBay and like buy the new phone, make sure it had a clear EIN number, which was a thing. And the way I would fund my phone addiction, which my mom did not like, was to flip them on eBay. So I'd get the new phone, sell the old one, and like be even. So that eventually changed. Probably like in college when I wanted bigger things, bigger and better. Technology was growing. iPads were created. So that habit continued. When it flipped to reselling, it was probably when I was in New York City and like broke being a college student. I would like flip things so I could just have like a little extra cash. And I'm talking like I needed $20. So, I'd sell whatever just to make $20. Great. And then Poshmark, I discovered it in 2015. Couldn't figure it out. I was like, nope, I'm done. I looked at it, downloaded it, signed up, gone. I was like, this is too hard. Flash forward to 2018, like I said, June, I went into a Nordstrom rack and they were having a crazy sale. And I found a pair of $400 helmet laying jeans, brand new with tag for $30. And me being a fashion hunter, I'm like, I'm a deal hunter too. So this is incredible. So I bought them for myself. They were my size. And I'm the person that buys the things, the nice things too. Like, for example, I bought these shoes that I have not worn yet and they still have the stuffing.
Wow.
But I bought those jeans and got them home and I was like, these will be for a special occasion. That occasion never came. So I was like, you know what, let's try Poshmark again. Like, let's just put it up there and see what happens. Took about a month, but it eventually sold for $81. So I made like $40, $50. And I was like, wait, that was there was like not a lot of work behind that. And keep in mind, I didn't have my ring light. It was just me, my camera phone, and like the ground. So I was like, let me try this again. So having just gone to the Nordstrom rack, I was like, let me hit up TJ Maxx. I know they have a clearance section. And this is where I learned my first lesson in reselling. Retail arbitrage is very different than just going to the thrift store. So I went to TJ Maxx and I got all these, like, I got 2 Fossil bags for like $20, a Michael Kors wallet, and a Rebecca Minkoff clutch or something. Those things, oh my God, I broke even. I barely broke even on all of those items. And then I went down this tunnel into YouTube and discovered like people thrifting and reselling. There's this one Canadian thrifter. Her name is Miss Philly, Fili, and she just took her phone and she was like, oh my God, we're going to the thrift store. And I would see her pick out stuff for $5, $6, $7. Canada's a little different with the shipping. It's crazy. But she's like, yeah, like I just go and flip and make $50. Okay, so I need to go to a thrift store. So then my thrift store, the first ever Goodwill I went into with a different lens, I immediately was like, oh my God, there are people doing this. Because if you're not a reseller and you're just like a shopper, you have no idea what people are shopping for. You think they're just buying for themselves. Wrong. The second your mind is switched and you're like, there's competition, I need to get the best deal so I can make the most money, my lens completely shifted. I walked into that store and I will never forget it. They brought out a cart before I knew what the carts were, or the racks. They brought out a cart and it was a Tory Burch bag. You can see it in my closet. It was one of the first things I sold. A Tory Burch bag that sold for $200. I bought it for $20.
Wow.
I know. And a Michael Kors red wallet that took a little while to sell, but it did sell for like $50, and I bought it for like $10. So I was like, okay, so the world is telling me pay attention for the carts and the racks. Like this is going to be a thing.
Okay, sorry, we have to stop you there. Because we're still kind of news when it comes to like thrifting and going to Goodwill. Can you explain to others out there that are newer than us, like what does that mean? The carts and the racks?
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I'm a chatterbox, so I could just go.
All right.
So if you're going to source, that's the like little term we say.
Yeah, and then source means that you go buy things to sell online. Right? Okay.
Correct. So when you're going to buy things to have for your inventory, your stash, you can go to a bunch of stores. I choose to go to Goodwill, as a lot of people do if they're accessible to you. If there's not a Goodwill, you might have heard of a Savers or Salvation Army, or like mom and pop literal like thrift store is the name. So here in LA, I don't know how it works anywhere else because I only have LA experience. There are Goodwills and there's Goodwill outlets. We'll get to that at some point. But a Goodwill is your traditional thrift store where you need a shirt, you can go get one for $4 or $5. What happens is they have a tagging and filtering system. So the donations come in, they, for the example of this statement, they hit the floor. And when that happens, every piece of clothing or shoes gets a color-coded tag or sticker. That is a way to cycle things through the store. So for that to happen, they bring out new items, new shoes on racks or carts. Things that come out on carts are shoes and hard goods being literally hard things like books, music boxes, plates, lamps, TVs, things like that. Soft goods, or stuff that comes on racks, is literally soft clothes, like clothes, like soft things, right?
Okay.
So jeans, pants, like every type of article of clothing, plus scarves and maybe some blankets, which you should always check for the tags because you never know if it'll be like a very specific high-end scarf blanket, because it's happened. Ties will also be on the racks as well. So when you go into this place, they don't just like constantly bring the racks out. They're announced, and your ears perk up when they say, "Attention customers, we have a new rack of clothing." They also make it a point to say, "Do not touch anything until the cart has stopped moving." The
Wow.
cart rack. So at that point, you're allowed, you have permission to take things off the racks and sort through it. And if you're new, I encourage you to go in one day and just observe. Don't shop for yourself, because your mindset will start to change if this is something you want to pursue. You can, it's always been there. Like, there are people hunting, right? You'll see how people go fast through the racks. You'll see, you know, people come in and like 5 minutes later they're out because they didn't have what they needed. It is such an experience to go in and like see people shop, or like see them run or walk very fast to a new rack that's coming out, or a cart. It's very interesting. It's very
It gives you a high, right? Like,
it's like a dopamine hit. Like, you're like, new cart, new rack. Oh my God, I want to find Lululemon, this. I want 2 pairs of shoes. You just go in, and you have to be a little assertive. I won't say aggressive, because there are people that like get pushy and like are vocal about it.
mm-hmm.
If that's the case, like, I step back, because that is not my gig. There's a lot of clothes. There's a lot of things to be sold. You can have it. So, you know, I step back from those situations, but it's crazy. It's an eye-opening experience.
So like going in, sometimes you will see some people like be hardcore, like what you said, but like for the most part, I think like, you know, resellers like respect each other's space, because like Blake said, there's always plenty to go around. And the funny thing is, like, you're gonna see each other again many times, so you do want to have like a good, respectful relationship with each other.
Yep.
You know, I try to be nice to people, and it's important, you know, to do that if you want to get in this business for the long haul. So, okay, cool.
Oh, sorry. There's also like, once you are friendly with these people, or at least are acquaintances from seeing them so often, you'll learn that like, there's people that are reselling, there's people that are as not aggressive, but like enthusiastic about getting the clothes, because they just have a big family and that's how they source for themselves. Or, you know, where I live locationally, I'm sure you guys have that down south from LA a little bit. There are people from Mexico that come up and buy like hundreds of pounds of clothes to take them back to like Tijuana or the swap meets in Mexico, because that's how they make money. It's a big
crazy.
buyer at the bins in particular, because you can get it so cheap.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So we definitely want to hit that up sometime. I like at the bins, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So what other platforms besides, or actually, what platforms are you currently selling on?
So I currently, and I can say this now, sell on Poshmark first and foremost, eBay second, and then Tradesy, which is new, and the RealReal. I prefer them I would actually probably prefer them Poshmark, eBay, the RealReal, Tradesy. I just signed up on Tradesy, and I put some more expensive things on there just to see how that works out. I'm not used to it, because Poshmark is so engaging and you have to like be active within the app. So putting something on the RealReal is like nice and convenient. You don't have to worry about it. They do the work for you. You also don't get as much money, but fine. And Tradesy, you like put it up and there's followers, but I'm still learning that platform. But people can find your item. Like, I don't think it's like a follow for follow like it is on Poshmark, which is interesting.
Okay. Yeah, we don't really know about the RealReal, but we just sold our first item on Tradesy.
I saw that, the J. Crew dress, right?
Yeah.
So exciting.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess Michelle's busy communicating over there with people who are still on YouTube, even though there's no sound. So the next question is, let's see here. Do you have any influencers that influenced you to get started?
Like reselling influencers, I would say no, but I would say like people from YouTube. Like, once, I don't know, it's like a tricky situation, because now I'm like chatty with the influencers of the reselling world. But like they didn't inspire me. They were people I followed, but like I was already starting the process. So it was nice to see where they are in their journey and their reselling business. For example, like Denali or Courtney Common Tags. She was the first person to like properly on my bins trip, like tell me like how it all works, which was very educating. And
So who was that talked about the bins?
Courtney. So her real name is Courtney. She goes by Common Tags.
Okay.
And on YouTube and Poshmark and Instagram.
Okay.
She has quite a following. She lives outside of LA, but like literally in a mountain. So she has to drive a couple hours to source. But we met up one day at the bins and she's like, I'll show you the ropes a little bit. I had gone on my own and was just so unaware of what to do. I was overwhelmed and I told her that and she said most people have that reaction. So I now recommend, just like she did to me, if it's your first time going to the Goodwill outlet or the bins, go with a friend or someone that has gone already. Like it is an experience and it is one you need to have on your have. But once you start to get the hang of it, you understand what to look for, how to look for it, where to physically be in the space to like get the articles of clothing, because it's a challenge.
Another name for the bins is the Goodwill outlet.
So the proper name for this place is the Goodwill outlet.
Okay.
For those who don't know, Goodwill has a quote unquote outlet, not like a factory, not like a Coach outlet, not at all. But basically everything that doesn't sell in a store, or if the store has too much, they will literally put it in metal crates and ship it to these centers, the outlet centers, and they will dump it in these gigantic blue bins that get rolled out in rows of 4, like up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 in one giant line, but it's also like doubled. So it's like parallel lines of bins throughout the entire warehouse. And the one that I have gone to the most, which I will just, for safety reasons, not disclose.
Yeah, no worries, you don't have to.
Because there's been some weirdness. It's one of the biggest ones. So, there's plenty. There's 100, 150 people at a time, and it is overwhelming. I recommend you wear gym clothes and be comfortable. If you have bad like breathing, wear a breathing mask.
No, I have bad breathing.
Me too. I have asthma. Literally, my asthma is so bad.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But I mean, think about it. It's not like a store that's set up where maybe there's a filter or like a system.
Okay.
Like, you're literally going into a literal bin, and diving around in moldy. It's not attractive.
Oh my gosh, like
Moldy,
okay.
dingy, like bin in a bag for 5 months because I just didn't get to the thrift store yet. It is not glamorous. Like here's something to know, people who want to start to do this. Reselling is not a glamorous business. The process of sourcing and getting your inventory is not like, oh, I'm going on a shopping trip. Not at all. It could be fun because you get excited, but like it is touching old people's clothes. It is not old people, just touching people's old clothes. Maybe old people's clothes if that's the demographic you're buying for, sure. But it's people's used clothes. I wash all my stuff before I donate it, but I'm gotta tell you, a lot of people don't, and I've seen stains in every which way possible for men and women. So I will leave it at that. The thing that I don't do that people talk about is wear gloves, which I very much understand from like a germ perspective, but like you need to feel the fabrics, particularly like if something's cashmere, like you need to feel it.
Yeah, there's some fabrics that I just can't have touch my skin. I'm like picky about that.
Yeah.
Are
like
you
wool. I can't have the wool touch my skin. Like, oh, ick.
Yeah, I think that's one of them. I get like, yeah, I just got your chills, Blake. How do they price the bins? How does that work?
So they price per pound, and in LA, they increase the price. So per pound for soft goods, which we have recently learned is just like regular clothes, all types of clothing, not shoes, just the clothes, it's $2.19 a pound. And I have not exceeded 50 or 60 pounds. But I know in places like Seattle, it is a lower rate off the bat. But also, if you hit certain thresholds of pounds, it decreases the per price pound, or the price per pound. So like say it's like $1 per pound in Seattle. If you hit 100 pounds, it becomes 50 cents a pound. So people like Denali, I'm just gonna use as an example because she talks about this. She'll go and get like hundreds of pounds.
Wow.
And she has her processes on like how she sells it, where she sells it. But in LA, it's $2.19 a pound. It might sound expensive, but when you can go and get 40 items for $2.19 each, it breaks down to be like $1 or less. And the more you get, the lower the number of your cost of goods is. So it's a really good way to make a bigger profit.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. The downside of the bins for me, because I do work full time, I can't ever go Monday through Friday. It is open and closed before I am at work, or when like I end work and it's been closed for an hour. So I have to only go on the weekends. And that is a challenge because I'm trying to kind of have a little bit of a personal life, which is already a challenge with being busy with my Poshmark and another side hustle. But, you know, if I can get there and squeeze in a couple hours, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all part-time poshers. So it's challenging to balance the time between like your full-time job and your personal life and doing this. So
to speak on that a little bit more, I have a unique perspective. I have met a lot of couples that do it part-time or full-time for that matter, you guys. And it's interesting how everyone can manage. I mean, I guess the easiest thing to point out is like you have someone else to like lean on, whether the person's in reselling with you or not. I don't. And you know, I'm aware of that, but it does take a toll, like it depending on how serious you want to be with your business and like whatever your goals are, and it's different for everyone. It's going to take some time, and that's a sacrifice. So although you can make decent money with this, it does require time. You have to put in the time. I'm not going to say you have to put in the hard work. Definitely have to put in the work. I don't like when people say hard work, because what we're actually doing is not hard.
It's not hard.
You don't need to go to college for this. I mean, you don't need to graduate high school, but you should graduate high school. You know, but you have to put in the time. If you don't put in the time, you're not going to see the results.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's simple.
So like how much time on average would you say that you put in? And, you know, when we went to PoshFest where we met, we were meeting a lot of other resellers, and actually most of the resellers were not working with their couples. It seems like most of them were part-time and most of them were individual like you. So about how much time would you say you spend weekly doing it?
I mean, in terms of days, I do this every day. It's rare that I have a day off, because I also will include the sharing aspect of your closet to be working. So I work every day. When I go to work, I work 9 to 5:30. I wake up sometimes early and photograph or list and get drafts ready, go to work, and I'll leave work and I'll go to the thrift store, or I'll come home, take a minute, which is rare, but I'll come because I'm just like, I'm out, I might as well go to the store. And then I'll thrift, or if I'm not thrifting, I'll come home and I know I have to photograph, or now because my YouTube is a priority, I have to come home, film videos, or if it's a haul, go shopping, get the stuff, come back, film the video. Like, I work a lot of hours in the day, and recently that's something that's become a problem that I'm seeing negative effects with in my like true day-to-day life. Video coming on that on my channel soon.
Cool.
But it's depending on how much time you have and how much you want to have your business grow, it depends entirely on you. And right now for me, I'm okay with sacrificing some personal lifetime, a lot of personal lifetime, because I'm also getting the social aspect from the reselling people. Like I can't talk about this to anyone of my friend or family group like in depth because they don't do it and they're like, I don't want to. But like we do, so like I don't know, it's my passion at the moment. So
yeah, it's our passion for sure. Like we get giddy about discussing stuff with other fellow resellers, so we totally get it. So speaking on, you said like, you know, you source, which means you buy stuff every day, and you know, to be on Poshmark, you have to be very active. But then you also mentioned that you're starting to kick off your YouTube channel. So the question is like, do you recommend that every reseller be that active, like socially on social media, like Instagram and on YouTube? Is that going to help them with their sales and to make money?
So this is a great question, and I lots of opinions about it. I definitely think on how successful you want to be, yes, I think you should incorporate social media because whether you post on social and someone sees something in your closet and it goes to your closet, or you know, maybe you post a video showing something you got and it draws traffic to your closet, whether they purchase it or not, it's more eyes on your profile to make another sale. I have now witnessed people watching a haul video, going to my closet, seeing a dress that is brand new with tags sold, and they were like literally 30 minutes too late. So, I mean, for me, it's, what's the word? Circuitous or, I'm gonna use synergy. It's all synergy. You know, my social drives traffic to my channel. My channel drives traffic to my closet, but so does my Instagram. It all connects. Should everyone do it? No. First and foremost, you don't need to, technically. Like, you can be successful without it. If you want to be extra successful, I do think it's a tool that you can use because one, it's free, and two, the only investment is your time with it. I definitely think everyone should, yeah, I do think everyone should have an Instagram. Like, there's no reason. You don't need to put your face on there. That's what people are concerned about. You don't there's a person in Orange County. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name, but he has never posted a picture of his face. The only thing present day that just changed a week ago is his icon in his profile. And I was like, oh, it's nice to see your face. He's like, yeah, I think I want to start a YouTube, but like, I don't want people to see me. And I said, people don't need to. If you want to like grow your business though, you need to start posting more about it. So that's interesting. And to be quite frank, not everyone is exciting. Like, I'm a New Yorker. I'm being honest. It's like, no, not everyone's a great builder. No, not everyone's a great singer. Not everyone is meant to be on the internet or like be a voice. Because like some people are boring and it's like, it's not the place to be, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's the reality. Like, people are boring. People are dry. And that doesn't work necessarily all the time, unless it's like in a humorous way. So is the YouTube aspect good for them? Not. If you're doing a haul and you're like, this is a pair of gray shorts. They're really gray. No one's gonna watch. But like, I mean, I will say I'm an energetic person. So like, I love these gray shorts. They're such a great stretchy fabric. They're from a good brand. Like,
you gotta make a video on that. Like that. I don't think I've seen anybody make a video on that, but you totally got to do it now. That would be awesome. Oh, that'd be awesome. Like if you go over everything you source and you're like describing each item, people would be interested to check it out. He does that.
I do that, and like, it helps. I think you need to have a rhythm because and I've talked about this with some people that have YouTube. The challenge, especially with hauls, is that it's a long process, right? And Gary Vee, which we'll talk about, I think at some point, he recently said that people are not just watching YouTube; they're listening to it instead of watching.
Yeah.
Or a blend of both.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. So like, if you're bland and boring, it's going to be hard to listen to you. Like, if you're not watching. But if you're energetic and like people can get a sense of what you're saying while not in the room, that's going to work out for you. Because it's like a podcast or a podcast.
I mean, honestly, like what you're saying makes so much sense. It's kind of like public speaking, right? This is something that, you know, you do have an audience and you do want to be able to like relay the information in an interesting way and in a way that makes sense. Like there is a lot involved. Like what you're saying is very smart, like so thanks for sharing that. And if you could share your 5 best tips. Okay, this is gonna be hard because it's your 5 best tips to listeners. And what I mean by that is maybe even just for beginners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what would it be?
So if you're thinking about reselling, whether on Poshmark or eBay or whatever platform, I think first and foremost is a reminder that you don't need fancy things to start. All you need is a smartphone. I can't believe I'm saying smartphone. You need a phone with a camera that can get to the internet, right? And light and the ground and the item that you want to sell. First and foremost, you don't need to spend the money on the equipment to like make that money. You can invest in it down the line once you have that money to do that with, but like unnecessary. Second would be start with stuff that's in your own possession. Don't be a me. I'm telling you, you can learn this lesson from me. Don't go to TJ Maxx and buy all the clearance. To the retail arbitrage people out there, I know it can work. This is not for the beginners. That's like a later conversation. But just start with your closet. Start selling like these shorts. Like, you know, why can't these shorts be sold? You don't need to go out and like source that inventory. So start with stuff that's in your closet. Make sure your lighting is good. I know I said you don't need fancy equipment, but make sure your lighting is good. So if you are only able to work at night or in a place that's darker, go outside or go near a lamp. And this is not something I do because I do have good lighting, thankfully. But if your photos come out warm and they kind of look a little dingy because the lighting is limiting, okay, these phones can make things brighter and cooler in temperature. So there's no reason anything should look dingy anymore. So that's that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and if you're not really sure how to do that, you can find all this information on YouTube.
Yes, I mean there's so many. You don't need a fancy program. You could definitely just get an app to do this, or even the basic editing tools that come if you click on edit a photo for your iPhone or Android. You can do most things. What is another tip? If you think, like, say you're maybe from an affluent background and you have this great idea that Louis Vuitton is the best and this, that, is the other is the best. Okay, sure. It is expensive. Great. Does it mean it's going to make you that much money back? Absolutely not. Oftentimes it won't. So don't think you know everything. Because it's a sad story when you do buy something expensive and find out on the resale market, you can barely give it away. Yeah. So don't think, what's the word? Like when you're shopping for yourself and you spend, $500 on a shirt, great. But like when you start reselling, you're going to realize you want to buy everything as cheap as possible so you can make the biggest profit. And if you buy something at $500, wanting $500 back, unless it's an Hermes Birkin, it's not happening. And then what's the 5th thing for like a beginner? Tell people what you do. Tell people what you do. This will tie into the whole start with your inventory from your closet aspect, your personal closet. People will give you donations or stuff they were going to donate. So it's free inventory for you to start. I actually think I'm at a point now where I can't do that because people want to make money, which is really unfortunate. But I do work with or around affluent people. So it is a challenge because they see me making money and they're like, well, I'll just send it to the Real. And guess what? they can. So I find if you're starting out, that's a really good place to tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone, because they're going to be generous, especially if you're starting out. They want to see you succeed. They want to see you win. And like the final like round out there, don't get discouraged if you don't find stuff every day, or if you can only go once a week and you don't find anything, that's okay. You will always find something, and there is so much to go around. Don't ever worry about the competition right now. I think that statement will change actually in the soon future, but right now there's plenty to go around, depending on where you live. But in general, you have access, whether it's on the internet or the Goodwills or the thrift stores, you have access to the inventory, so it's there.
I almost felt, because I feel like we source from different places. So we actually do a lot of sourcing from garage and estate sales. And we do find a lot of like old vintage items there. And there's a lot of people, and people are, it's kind of sad to say this, but they're dying every day.
Yeah.
And that's another time when like, we have opportunity to source is when somebody has passed and then their children don't know what to do with everything. So then they have an estate sale, and then we come in and find items, that we want to resell. And I feel like, with fast fashion around also, people are buying clothes every season and just like getting rid of their other clothes. Seems like you have an opinion on that. What's your opinion on the fast fashion, Blake?
I hate fast fashion. I understand it, but I hate it because as someone who's thrifting, I'm sure you've seen it. And I think anyone who has thrifted once knows like half of the waste, the clothing waste in these places is from Forever 21s or Nasty Gals these days, or just like the places, H&M. Oh my God. I cannot tell you how many times I go to grab a cute blouse or a cute print. It's always a print with Zara in particular. Zara is a good one too. You go to get it and it's like Zara Trafaluk. And I'm like, this will not get me money. That said, there are, if something's donated and it's brand new with tags, maybe I'll entertain it. I'll do my research and see if it's cute, how much it was originally, etc. But the fast fashion, just especially in the shoe departments of like where I'm thrifting here in LA, there is so much trash. It is not like wearable. It's actual trash and should just be thrown away because the stuff is so worn. It's so cheaply made. Or at the same time, there's brand new things, but it's like, it's $7 at the thrift store. They were $25. I'm not going to make a profit. Who's going to buy this? The person that's coming in to shop for themselves right then. But it sucks because I pass like really cute things and it's just like not worth it, which sucks. And it's terrible for the environment, but I'm happy Forever 21's done.
So we've noticed like you make a lot, you've been doing really well in sales. Like I saw a post where you had over $800, I think, in profit in a week.
Yeah.
That's
amazing. It was a really good week.
Congratulations on that. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And you've been selling since when?
So I've been seriously selling since January 1 of 2019, but I've been lightly selling, and it was mostly eBay of 2018, but June 2018 to present, seriously on Poshmark though, exclusively January 1.
Awesome. Yeah, no, congrats on that because you're part-time and you have a
really
full-time job and everything.
Let me tell you, it's a mix. It's a mix. It's always a blend, okay? It's having a mix of items that are expensive, things that people want, and some part of the whole like algorithm, not algorithm that Poshmark has, which is following, sharing, listing, and selling. It's like a constant cycle. And it was 2 weeks in a row that I had sales that were almost $1,000 each. And I have come down from that high. I do notice gaps, like if you go on vacation or can't be as active in your closet, I see sales kind of slump. But I mean, when I say slump, I mean just like slightly decline. Like last week I had almost $600 in sales 2 weeks ago, but this past week I had almost 5. So it's a little less, but the profit could be more just depending on the cost of goods, what items sold, etc.
That's right. Yeah. So about how many pieces a week are you sending off?
These days, I'm so excited to say it's probably like 15.
All right.
15, yeah, I don't want to say 15 to 20, but 15. But the thing that's important to note for the new people is, because I am part-time and like I am busy with another side hustle, which I do pet sit, and stay at these people's homes, which is not next to my apartment whatsoever. Time is my challenge. So when I started this, I was like, I'm going to use my knowledge and my logic to buy things that I know will garner me a higher profit. And I'm not going to get brands that, you know, maybe if I was full time, I could sell 100 things at $20 and make $1,200. Or because I'm part time, I'm going to get 20 things that I could make $1,200 with, because the profit potential is bigger. It does involve higher end brands. It does involve unique things, but it's always a mix. Like, it's never just exclusively Louis Vuitton. It's never been Louis Vuitton, except it might be actually this week because I found something. But it's a blend. It's, you know, keep an eye out for the thing that's maybe lower end, because that actually might be unique enough to flip a huge profit, especially if it's vintage. The vintage stuff, oh, that's like a whole separate conversation.
Yeah, we love vintage.
That.
We do a mix too, but we love vintage. It's kind of our goal. If we find something that stands out, we've been able to flip it for a really good profit. Along those lines, then, is there anything else that you can give advice on, like a new seller to get their sales going, to get their sales up?
To the new sellers out there, just remember, if it's not listed, you can't make money. And it's so simple to hear, but if you have the inventory and it's just sitting and it's not listed on the internet for someone to find, you're literally looking at money that can't come in. So that's that. Big recommendation. I don't think people talk about this enough. When you're buying your inventory, try to only use cash. Everyone has a different method of this, and I am changing mine. That's why I'm saying this. Try not to go into debt for your business, which means don't go buy $100 of inventory on your credit card. Chances are might not sell. We just want to be cautious. It's a credit card. So me personally, I did do that, but I've been quite successful. So I've had no problem with that. However, and I get the points, but I really recommend you buy in cash, so that way you can better see like how much money you're spending on inventory. And if you don't have some good weeks, you might have a balance on your credit card. So start, give yourself a challenge, do a little challenge, say $20, go to the thrift store, see how much you could get for $20. If it's one thing, great. If it's 3, 4, 5 things, phenomenal. Flip it, see how much money you get. And, say you make $80, take 20, add 20 more, then go give your $40 challenge a try and just keep it going.
Yeah, those are amazing tips. I like those.
I think that's how we started too.
We did. We started doing it using cash.
Yeah.
I wish I would have. I mean, I got into the credit card thing, which is fine. I've never had an issue. I really truly did it for the points, but I really just for safety of my own credit, I don't know. I'd rather just do it.
There's more pressure doing that.
Yeah. Like you really, I mean, I will say it was like a fire. Like if I have spent like $200 on inventory, if you do that on a credit card, I'm a person that does not like a balance. I need zero at all times. So that was like, all right, we got to get these listed, sold, flipped, paid off, invested in the next trip. So yeah.
Good advice. All right. So shall we end with one really good question?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. So you mentioned you're super passionate about the business, right? So what do you love the most about the reselling business?
Oh my gosh. I think it's like people say the community, and like I agree. But for me personally, and this is like a very honest answer. I don't think I've even told my mom this. It's given me the feeling that like, no, it hasn't given me. It has shown me that like I can make something happen. And I'm very hard on myself, so I don't give myself credit for this, but I definitely don't think that in traditional jobs, you can, I don't know, like I need my validation in different ways. Telling me good job doesn't do the same for me as it would other people. When I can see results and tangible success, that really gets me going. And Poshmark has really allowed me to see work plus, time equals result. And the result has kept growing in a positive way. There have been some knockdowns, learning moments, and there will always be those. And anytime there's not, get a little nervous. But I definitely think it's like a confidence of like, it's given me this like confidence to believe in myself that I can do something that doesn't need to be traditional, like a desk job or something. Yeah.
That's crazy you just said that, because like I'm exactly the same way. Like I feel that, I need to see that my work is producing some kind of a physical result. I don't like, maybe it's monetary, right? Or maybe it's like, oh, I got 10, 15 items out this week. Like I need to see that too, to feel like I'm doing a good job, or that,
Yeah.
I don't know. I get you with that.
This only happened once so far, but on Poshmark, you get feedback from a buyer once they receive your item, and they give you a rating, and sometimes they can leave a comment. One person, it wasn't like a deep like comment or anything, but when she bought the item, she told me that she was getting married in 5 days, and she found these shoes and she was like, I'm in love with them. They were these white slingback Diane von Furstenbergs. You can check it out in my closet. They're sold. But she got them and she was like, this made my wedding day perfect, da 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 da. And I was like, I didn't need that, but like hearing that like I made an impact in someone's life with their shoes because I had them available is like a weird like appreciation. I don't know. It just felt good to like bring that the joy to someone I will probably never meet.
Yeah, I mean, that's like you really impacted, like Michelle said, her wedding day. I mean, she'll remember that forever, and it's going to be special to her forever. That's really cool.
You're almost like her stylist, right?
True.
For her wedding.
I've thought about it.
Yeah, but like how rewarding. That's like the rewarding part of the business.
Yeah. And if I could share one thing, and it's actually from PoshFest. I got a lot of questions being part-time. A lot of questions, we might have talked about this. Do you want to go full-time? Ton of questions. Do you want to go full-time? I thought going to PoshFest, like my reasoning when I bought the ticket right when they came out, ambassador status, so it was a little earlier than the regular public. I was like, I'm going to go see if this is something that I can do, right? And buying the ticket and PoshFest, there was like six or 7 months of time. My business grew, I went and I realized I don't want to be full-time with it. Don't kill me. I mean, I like the full-time, I like the part-timeness of it all because I really do love it. And my fear, and I can guess this will happen, I forecast it, if I go full-time, I will feel forced and then I will hate it. And that's just, I don't want this passion, this like love of like clothes and reselling and connecting to people. I don't want that to go away. So do I want to go full-time ever? I don't think so. My goals, I will say, are beyond this. I don't know in what format, but I'm working with my socials and really crushing my part-timeness to see what'll happen. Because if there was ever a way to half be monetized on my social platforms and half resell, I could live that lifestyle.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want to be forced to make a lot of money living in LA. It's like very expensive to live here. And like the thought of having to make X thousands of dollars, it's a lot. And people in like small towns could not fathom how much I have to pay for my rent. So they probably have a 3-bedroom house for less than my monthly rent in my studio.
That's a good point.
So
that's true. Yeah. So some people that don't live in areas like LA can maybe afford to do it full time, no problem.
Yeah.
It's a little tougher.
correct.
When you're in LA. That's true. And I can also see like what you're saying, like it's totally different having the pressure to like produce versus like, man, this is my hobby that I'm really passionate about. And I just want to do this on my free time. Yep. It's a different situation. And actually, I did want to ask you this earlier and I had just forgotten, but sometimes like, especially when you're new, and it happened to us, and you mentioned that it happened to you, like we get unmotivated sometimes because maybe sales aren't happening, or, you know, there's a lot to learn. There's a learning curve. Like, do you have any advice on like how to motivate, you know, a new seller or even just like an old seller to keep going?
So I think this is like honestly a question about someone's personality. So I am a go-getter, and I have never accepted no, and I have never accepted failure. And if failure has happened, I've been pissed, realized after talking to my mom that it's a learning lesson, and then have moved forward and grown from it. That said, there will be lulls, even now. Like, look, I had a $800 week and now I'm at 450. Like, what? Most people would be upset by that. But like, listen, my goals right now, the way I have them structured, okay, fine, it was like a little dip, but like my goal was still met. I'm not gonna be hard on myself. And the best thing to keep doing is keep listing, keep sharing, keep doing it. Like, the worst thing to do is stop. Like, if your sales are down, that's literally an indicator to go get more inventory, go list, go source, post that stuff, cross post. If you're only on Poshmark, throw it on over to eBay, throw it on to Tradesy. Like, you can shuffle your stuff around. If it's an expensive item, send it to the Real. Like, there's millions of people on all these platforms, sometimes not on the same ones, especially eBay. Like, if something doesn't sell for me on Poshmark first, I throw it to eBay. And then if that doesn't sell, then, I mean, eBay's got how many millions of customers? It's probably not a great item, you know? So that doesn't happen often these days, but, you know, cross-platform.
Yeah, by your answer, you can definitely tell you're a big go-getter.
Well, like, I want to prove that, like, no is not the answer, you know?
Yeah. I absolutely love that, because like when we first started Poshmark, literally it was, I don't even know how many days, like so many days we weren't getting a sale.
Yeah.
And we were doing so well on like other platforms. So I was just like, no, this is really weird. Like, we're doing so on other platforms. Like, I'm going to keep being on my phone until I make that sale. And I remember Michelle, do you remember that? I think you were just like, Poshmark, you know, it's not going to work for us. And I was literally spending hours a day on my phone.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing, but I was so determined to make that sell. So, yeah, I can relate with that. It's really great advice as well. So, I know you said you want to talk about Gary Vee.
You want to use that as a
ending?
As an ending. No, so because I did work in TV advertising, when I was in my height of that career in the advertising world, I was in TV, and TV is kind of dying because everything's going to social or streaming. And I, in my TV job, was encouraged by like everyone, if you want to follow the money, go get a job in digital. Gary Vee has VaynerMedia, which is one of the biggest social media companies, and not like social as like Twitter. Like, we're beyond, when people say social media, it's like a real thing. It's a lot of analytics, a lot of data. I was like, I'm going to go work there, go do advertising. And I was like, okay, maybe I actually don't. But this guy has a lot to say that's like blunt, which I love. I respond to that so well. Not everyone does. But he's not lying to you. Like, he's telling you, he is also the person that says not everyone's going to be great at something. People are coddled these days. Everyone's told you're going to do great. You can do this. Guess what? You can't. Not everyone can. There's a reason Adele is Adele and Beyonce is Beyonce. You know, like, there is not another Beyonce. It's one person. I always default to Beyonce. I'm sorry. But like, you know, it's he has a lot of good points. Like, you have to put in the work. You have to take the sacrifice. You know, he says it's, oh my God, he just put out a video like a month ago. It's not about the hours after work. It's about the in-between hours. Like, you go to work and then you know, an hour later, do your side hustle. What are you doing with the in-between hours? Are you going to bed and getting 8, 9, 10 hours of sleep? Maybe you could be getting 7. You're not going to be doing that for the rest of your life, but like, realize that you might need to make a sacrifice, and maybe it is an hour of sleep every day. Maybe it is not going to dinner with your friends. And that's, I mean, I'm not like ignoring my friends, but like, my priorities have shifted and I will make time for them. But like right now my business is growing and thriving, and that's where I want to dedicate because I'm seeing results. And Gary Vee is poignant to say all these things. And he's like a nugget of knowledge. Everyone, if you're a beginner, you should all follow Gary Vee's YouTube channel. He is insightful. You might not like his personality because it is very blunt. I will not lie.
Yeah.
But listen to what he is saying, because everything he is saying, not everything, but like most of what he is saying in terms of business is accurate. And he has been at the top of his game, ahead of the curve, especially with social media, particularly TikTok, which I am trying to understand because I have an account, but like I don't understand how it works, because like if you go to the app right now, right? I did it in a work meeting. Oops. Go to it. There's no way, at least from what I found, you can't turn the volume off. So like it's always on with sound. And I don't know if that's like a phone thing, but I like am trying to understand TikTok and how I can use that for Poshmark, because as it stands, I see it as a meme thing. Like it's a meme kind of cultured social platform, but they're so new that they can become anything, which Gary Vee says. So it's like you need to get in now so that when it develops into the thing, just like YouTube, like not many people can grow present day to get 19 million subscribers like Shane Dawson. He did it because he's been with it since day one, you know. And like Twitter, oh my God, I don't even know who's huge on Twitter, but like the more early adopting you are, the better your stake in that platform and visibility will be. So I think that's important.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And you're a singer. You could just lip sync, and while you're thrifting at you know, Goodwill. That'd be awesome to watch that. That would be so cool.
I never knew that singing little like snippets of like I don't know, like I'm going to the bathroom. Like who knew people would respond so well to them? Because I'm telling you, people love it. And I
love that. That is so funny.
Here's the thing though, I can sing. I am a singer, but like that's me making fun of me singing. So it's like people love it. Like, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it to you. I might try a fully sung haul video.
That would be cool.
You should start make a song about thrifting or reselling.
Oh my God, available on iTunes, right?
Michelle loves to sing too. She's pretty good at it too.
She's like, oh, stop.
She likes the good job, you know, comments or whatever.
Love it.
Well, thank you so much. You're like such a pleasure, and like, oh my gosh, I love talking to you. I think I could just listen to you and chat with you.
I could talk for days, so.
I think we should go bin shopping one day.
You're going to be our first bin shopper experience. We're going to save that for you. We won't go until you're available, so let us know.
Well, I've got to tell you, we can talk about this off the platform, but I am like honestly booked every weekend with stuff until 2020. So it's like a whole thing. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, we got to get us in there. We got to book in 2020.
Yeah, we got to get together. We're so close.
So yeah, thanks for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We feel super bad about that, but thank you for like hanging in there. We're gonna edit this up and send you a copy. Please tell everyone what your platforms are so that people can follow you.
Yeah, so you can follow me. I made it very simple for everyone at PoshBossBlake for Instagram, my Poshmark closet, and of course my YouTube channel.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. And if you like this video, and the video is also probably gonna go on PoshBossBlake's YouTube channel, please like and subscribe, and leave us your comments. And thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
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 Bye.